English will make you understand that. Make you understand in English that a noun of two syllables, a noun of two syllables, a noun of two syllables has the stress on the first syllable. The noun of two syllables will have the stress on the first syllable. But in literature, when it is like this, you call it iambic foot. There is stress syllable followed by unstressed, iambic foot. You see it? Iambic foot has a stressed syllable followed by an unstressed syllable, iambic foot. A trochaic foot has a stressed one, and this iambic foot has unstressed, return. Iambic unstressed followed by stress. Trochaic foot stress followed by unstressed. Now, if you've known foot, you are to know meter. You don't count, you don't define the length of your line, poetry, length of your lines in poetry with a number of feet. You know, for instance, let's say, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? We have 8 words. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. We have 7 words. When I ask now that which line is longer, some of us will say the first line. But according to poetry, let's see if they are equal. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? We have 10 syllables here. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. We have another 10 syllables. So they are equal. Now if you check these lines, we have 5 iambic feet in one line. How? Shall I? That's 1. Compare, that's 2. Thee to a summer's day. We have 5 iambic feet. 5 iambic feet. Now, the number of feet makes up the meter in poetry. When you have 1 iambic foot, you call it monometer. That means a line of poetry with just 1 foot is iambic monometer. If it is an apestic foot, 1 anapestic monometer. If it is 2 feet, for instance, 1 foot is just my friend. My friend, spondiac foot, my friend. Then if you say, my friend has come, you've seen 2 feet. You see, that is diameter. If it is, my friend will come today, that's down to 3. It is triameter. If it is 4 feet, tetrameter. If it is 5 feet, pentameter. If it is 6 feet, that's where hexameter comes in. So when you see an objective question and they say, what is hexameter? Hexameter is made up of, it's a line of poetry that has 6 iambic feet. You see that? So 6 iambic feet, it can be iambic hexameter, dactylic hexameter. We'll still be touching some of those words in case we've not met them before. So now, hexameter is a line of poetry having 6 feet. Simple as that. We move on to couplet. You know, couplet has 2 meanings as well. 2 meanings, couplet. The first one is the fact that a couplet is a stanza of 2 lines, rhyme or no rhyme. You want to see that, read Niyo Shundare's poem, The Leader and the Led. That poem has 24 lines. That poem has 24 lines. The Leader and the Led has 24 lines. 24 lines. But these 24 lines, we have 12 stanzas in these 24 lines, which means that each stanza has 2 lines. Each stanza has 2 lines. How will it look like? But the poem is not a rhymed verse. Stanza 1 says, the lion stakes his claim to the leadership of the pack. That's stanza 1. The lion stakes his claim to the leadership of the pack. Stanza 2, but the antelope remembers the ferocious pounds of his paws. Stanza 3, the hyena says the crown is made for him, but the impala shudders at his leather appetite. The giraffe craves a place in front, but his eyes are too far from the ground. When the zebra says he's tried to lead, the pack watches is duplicating, is duplicating color. The zebra has 2 colors, white and black. The pack they are watching, is this one really white or black? They are confused. But what am I trying to say? A stanza of 2 lines, rhyme or no rhyme, is a couplet. That is one. Then secondly, a stanza of 2 lines, any 2 lines that have successive rhyme, is a couplet. How? Any 2 lines with successive rhyme is a couplet. How? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. That's a couplet too. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. It's a couplet. We call it couplet rhyme. 2 lines with successive rhyme is a couplet rhyme. You see that? Then just 2 lines even without rhyme is a couplet. We don't forget that. It says that it's a stanza of 6 lines. How? Those soul their bodies best. Upon a thankless errand, fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. Those things that need must and go all the lie. 6 lines stanza. Go soul their bodies best. Upon a thankless errand, fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. Go sins that need must die. Go soul their bodies guest upon a thankless errand, fear not to touch the best, the truth shall be thy warrant. Go sins that need must die, and give the world the lie. Yes, we are seeing the way it's going little by little. You know, we'll sing sestet now. Sestet is a stanza of 6 lines. A stanza of 6 lines. Let's see the next one, alliteration. Alliteration, alliteration, alliteration. You see, alliteration is a figurative device. Alliteration is a figurative device. And this type of figure of speech is also called a figure of sound. It's also called a figure of sound. Now, when you look at this figure of sound, we want to play with sound here. We're looking at playing with sound. Alliteration comes to play when the same consonant sound is being repeated at the beginning of words in a statement. The same consonant sound is being repeated at the beginning. Take note, at the beginning of words in a statement. The same consonant sound is being repeated at the beginning of words in a statement. That is alliteration. How? How? You see, since 1777, some stupid students started smoking cigarettes. That's alliteration. Since 1777, some stupid students started smoking cigarettes. That's alliteration. Since 1777, some stupid students started smoking alliteration. Do you understand? Francis consonant sound at the beginning of words in a statement. Repeating the same consonant sound at the beginning of words in a statement. That is alliteration. Are you with me? Repeating the same consonant sound at the beginning of words in a statement. You know, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. A peck of pickled pepper. Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper? Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. A peck of pickled pepper. Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper? Peter Piper picked. That's fine, not bad. So that's alliteration. It's a figure of sound used when the same consonant sound, is repeated at the beginning of words in a line of poetry or in a statement. Is that clear? Don't forget that. We keep moving on. We've seen contrast. Hope you understand what contrast is all about. Trying to juxtapose 2 ideas. Trying to juxtapose 2 ideas, 2 figures of speech, 2 characters. You can contrast characters, contrast ideas. You know, as you contrast, write the discuss, clearly contrast Ada and Francis in second class citizen. What do you because they have sharp differences. Are you following me? They have sharp differences before they can ask you to contrast 2 characters. You know, before they can ask you to do that. Clearly contrast Jimmy and Cliff. Cliff Lewis and Jimmy in Look Back in by John Osborne. Or clearly contrast Elena and Allison in this book. If you understand the book and know what contrast is all about, that means you should be able to talk about it. Simple. The next thing we should be looking out now is assonance. Assonance sounds are repeated in the middle of words. Is that clear now? when vowel sounds are repeated in the middle of words. I gave you example the other time. I said, when Ken went there, Ben fell there. You will hear the sound being repeated. When Ken went there, Ben fell there. That is to show that the same vowel sound being repeated in the middle of words. When, Ken, fell. You see the there. When Ken fell there, Ben fell there. When Ken went there, Ben fell there. That's alliteration. You don't forget that. I want to thank God because you guys are really improving. You are letting me understand that it's going into your brain, because the way you've been, answering my question these days, I want to believe that it will only get better. You can just keep improving. All right. Metaphor. Metaphor. You see, metaphor is a figurative device. It's a figure of speech as well. Metaphor is a figure of speech. Metaphor is a figure of speech used. It's a figure of comparison. Don't forget that. It's a figure of speech used when two items with hidden similarities, two different items with hidden similarities are compared indirectly using, you don't use anything for them. Just pulled your leg and you told me like. When you are doing metaphor, you don't use anything. You compare them indirectly using nothing. Are you following me? You see, you compare two different items with hidden similarities without using as, like, seems, or resemble. Without using as, like, seems, or resemble. Without using as, like, seems, or resemble. Oh boy. Without using as, like, seems, or resemble. When you compare things like this, some folks may think you are not comparing, but you are comparing. For instance, man is like a river. Man is like the river. It's like a river. You should have your reason for saying that. That is simile. Man is like a river. That is direct comparison. But if it's metaphor, man is a river flowing from one point to another, which means man is not stable in one position. You keep moving, you keep moving. You see it? Rivers flow. The world is a marketplace. The world is a marketplace. And there are people that know how to make use of this figure of speech. You see, if you look at my finest, one of the finest, arguably one of the finest fathers of negritude, is talking about Leopold Sedar Senghor. He says, gazelle lamed in paradise. That's who you are. Gazelle lamed in paradise. Fine one. He says, the beautiful legs of the African woman are to be compared to those of the gazelle, beautiful legs. Instead of him saying, your legs are like those of gazelle, he says, he puts it this way, gazelle lamed in paradise. Because if you look at that poem, he tries to describe every part of this woman. Naked woman. Naked woman means natural woman. Black woman. Clothed with your color, which is life. The gentleness of your hand was laid over my eyes, and now I up on the sun-baked paths at the heart of noon, at the heart of summer. I come upon you, my promised land, and your beauty strikes me to the heart like the flash of an eagle. Now, our beauty in general. Naked woman, black woman. Firm-fleshed ripe fruits. It did not say you are like firm-fleshed ripe fruit. That is metaphor. Firm-fleshed, that means the succulence of your body. Your body is so succulent. Do you know the ripe fruit he's talking about? Get your teeth and you chew without touching seed. Which fruit can give us that? Which fruit can you just pluck and put in your mouth? You cut big chunk. You need cane. Banana is so stressful because you have to stress to peel it off. So I think only Apple can do that for us. Only apple for now. You don't say strawberry because strawberry is even rough. Or you don't understand. Banana is stressful because the stress of peeling is another issue. This my brother, you need can you say pankane? Pankane. You will be flogged for this. You face court martial for this. Those guys, you know. So when you take apple, you put your teeth in there. You take as many chunks as possible. You won't meet the seed. Or you don't understand. That's how the skin of the African woman look like. You will just, it looks, oh boy, shout out to beautiful African ladies. In fact, all African ladies are beautiful. I like them so much. It says, firm fleshed ripe fruits. One, look at the sweetness of the black man. Some raptures of black wine. Black. Look at those wine coming out from Ribena, from all those, all those black currant wine, black wine, those grape, firm fleshed ripe fruits. Somber raptures of black wine. Mouth making lyrical my mouth. Sweetness. Look at that one. He said, your solemn contralto voice. Even your voice makes sense. It's the spiritual song of the beloved. That's African woman, 100%, 360. Naked woman, dark woman. Gazelle lamed in paradise. See, your legs are like those of gazelle, straight legs. He said, pearls are stars on the night of your skin. Meaning, the pearls you are putting on, your gold, your diamond, they are like stars. The way stars are shining at night, that's how those pearls are shining on your black skin. So what's more? So if you have a black woman, an African woman in your life, cherish her. I cherish my wife so much. So you should. Now, do you know what? If you touch the now, do you know what? If you touch this woman's skin, your hand will sink in. If you chew this apple,